Hi, my name is Jimmy Russels and I'm interviewing for a goodlife personal trainer position. So I believe that my greatest strength is my social ability. I'm very outgoing, I'm very kind, and I'm very good at reading people and finding the best way to satisfy a situation, definitely when people are involved. I also believe that it's my greatest weakness. I can find myself getting distracted at some times, and also perhaps it's mostly distraction. I find myself getting distracted when I need to stay focused on a certain task. I can get sidetracked by individuals or talking to people or so on and so forth. So a time where I encountered a problem that I had to please multiple people when I was finding the solution would probably be at my last job. I used to work for a company selling cell phones, and I had a customer complaint where I was the go-between between the customer and the manager, and I had to find a way to ensure that I satisfied the customer but also kept their business to satisfy my manager. This was difficult because I had to first understand the complaint that the customer had before I could truly fix it. I had to make sure that the issue would be truly dealt with and dealt with properly, that they would be happy and willing to come back. This was very difficult, but in the end, I was able to solve the problem by truly understanding what it was so that I could go through the proper channels and steps to get it fixed. So I would also quote that as a time when I came up with a very innovative solution, because the customer was very unhappy with my manager for a phone that was sold to them that they had found was an open product. It hadn't been used, but it had been open to show another customer. So what I had done is I was pretty confident how the situation would result. So as soon as I heard the customer complaint, before speaking to my manager, I contacted the RMA department, which takes in defective phones or pieces of equipment, has them fixed, and sends back working copies or offers an advanced replacement depending on the company. So I contacted the company, had them send a replacement in advance, and what this did was eliminate any lead time, and we had the phone just in case the end result was a replacement, which it was. And that was kind of my innovative way to be proactive in solving that situation. So in terms of how I want to grow my business, in a yearly plan, what I would want to do would be to first determine my market. So figure out who it was I'd want to train, who I'd be marketing to, and the best way to find these people, and how to find them, when to find them, what they wanted, and really learn about my demographic. From there, I would really determine what I would need to do to be successful based on what other successful trainers have done at this location. I would speak with them, shadow them, and figure out what they did, and try to determine what kind of schedule they used when ensuring this success. I would then set clear, defined goals that would be very easy to achieve, and then ensure that by keeping to these small incremental goals, that over time they would manifest to my overall success. My ideal working environment would be one that I'm adequately prepared to do my job. It would be one where I have all the tools that I need, all the knowledge and training, and support from any management to make sure that I was able to do the job that I was given. It's always tough when you work at a job when you're not quite sure what's required of you, you're not given a lot of tools, and you're kind of left to fend for yourself. And that's what happened at my old job, and while I did succeed, it made it much more difficult. And I think a person who didn't have my resolve would have become very disengaged and very discouraged. And that's not good for the employer. So one thing that I did to make a difference at my old job was inventory was always a very large issue. So something that we did is we always just brought all the stock in, tossed it on the shelves, and just sold things as they were required. But then every once a year, or when a new manager was hired after one quit or was fired, we had to do a full store inventory. Usually it's a once a year bullet that we would bite and have to do it, but we had 6 different managers in a 9-month period due to new hiring, firing, people quitting, due to overall poor work conditions. So having to go through the entire store top to bottom was very, very frustrating and happened way more than it should have happened. So what I did was I began to organize items by their value, because most low cost, cheap items weren't even counted. They were just ignored and left to the wayside and considered to be part of a small degree of items that were, if or unaccounted for, if the dollar value of those items was within a specific range, we didn't really worry about it, and it was just absorbed by the store. But that would be very tough when they were all interspersed with expensive items and so on and so forth. So what we did was I took the expensive items and I began to sort everything by price and label it by the SKU number, which was the internal inventory number we used. So all you had to do was scan it, and then there you'd be able to input right away, and we could see all of our stock that way. Security was better, internal theft risk went down, all that kind of good stuff happened because we organized better, and that was my idea, my plan. Once I set it up, I taught the others how it was done, and then to my knowledge that process is still used today. So what I'll do to set myself apart from the competition is, I think it's the fact that I have absolutely no ego, and I'm very, very much eager to learn, and I will never turn away any opportunity to gain more knowledge. So I believe that I will definitely be very, very inexperienced and very humble, but so hungry and eager to learn that I'll be able to pick up the skills that I need and constantly hone and develop them to make sure that I am extremely successful and able to really, really improve and move forward within the organization and truly benefit from the experience that I'll have. And I believe that not having experience in the field, while some would consider it a weakness, I would consider it a strength, because as a manager, you are able to not try to change either good or bad habits that I have. You can simply not have to worry about hiring good trainers, you can make them. And that's the advantage that I believe you're going to have by hiring me over someone else who I'm competing with. So I really hope that you consider me for employment. Thank you.